12 o'clock on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. Oh, oh, what are you waiting for? I don't know who sings that song. I need to find that out. But it's the perfect song to those who are in barbering and cosmetology, aesthetics, or nail school. I mean, what are you waiting for, right? What are you waiting for? You're waiting for the sixth episode of So You Think You Can Do Hair? And you know who it is? That's right. It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, aka Key Lolo. And then right over here, wrong finger, we have the one and only hair oracle, Ms. Cheryl Morrow, with the lovely bun up there. It's very nice.
Oh, you like the bun?
I love the bun. Today is my mommy's birthday. I think my mom would have been like 72. I haven't did the math yet. But yeah, she would have been 72. And that was like my favorite hairstyle, was the one part because it was quick, like hurry up, get it up there and just be done and be over with it. So you're wearing the hairstyle that my mom would just slap on me. And so happy birthday, mom. Happy birthday, mom. We're gonna go out and have some lunch for mom's birthday today. So, do you have anything special on your agenda?
Probably just organizing the files that we talked about.
Oh, yes, we have a wonderful podcast coming back up tonight. That's right. We're going to be live again at 6 o'clock tonight. And it's for all the eco-friendly, earth-loving, mother nature enthusiasts. So tonight we're going to go green one day after St. Patty's Day, where everybody was going green. It's our 100th episode. So we're going to have some giveaways and some balloons and all that. I might see if I can find a green cupcake or something, just so I can just eat it all, like get all the green and stuff. I'm not drinking no green beer.
Oh no, that ain't.
Nah, I can't do the.
Well, I did enough. So unconscious Patty's Day shit in school. I ain't doing that.
You said no more Patty's Day. Okay, she had enough of it. Well, I've never tried. I'm not a beer lover as it is because I think it tastes like gorilla pee. I've never tasted gorilla pee, but something tells me that's what it tastes like. But I just can't do beer. It's too bitter. It's just
That's my favorite. I am a beer drinker.
Oh, now the beer that you introduced us to, that was some schwanky. Now that wasn't no regular beer.
San Diego beer.
Yeah, let's give that. Where did you take us to? Let's give them a shameless plug. What was the name of that place that they
Pure?
Pure. An odd name for a beer, but let me tell you guys, they had games in there. The staff was all, sexy, and the crowd was all cool and chic in mode. So Pure is located in sunny San Diego, California. It's definitely a tourist must see, must go to, must visit, especially if you are a beer connoisseur, and it's approved by none other than the hair oracle, Rashida. And now we got our drizzy drink on up in there, and they give you the little and stuff. Yeah, we had a good time. So I love the games. The games definitely made the visit thebomb.com. But we have a wonderful podcast. We're on our sixth episode. If this is your first time checking us out in the afternoon, our 12:30, it was at noon. Our noon time has been moved to 12:30. So we're here every Monday, excuse me, at 12:30. And this podcast is specifically for those who are in school for barbering, cosmetology, nails, and aesthetics. And so the topics are pretty much geared towards those who either just got out, maybe you just got in, maybe you're thinking about quitting. It'd be that way. Have you ever thought about when you was in school, like, I think I'm gonna quit this? Just quit.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I had my dad on the other side, so.
When we were in college, right, there used to be this drinking game. It was called I Thought About It. And then you go, and I'm dumb. Anybody went to college? Remember those the best drinking games were in college. So if you are in college, you ever been to college, drop one of your favorite drinking games in the chat. We had so many. I'm here to tell you, we had one called Thumps where you had to like do the beats and then you had to remember the beat and pass and whoever messed up. Oh my gosh. We had some serious. I never. You can only imagine what I never was all about. Okay, that was a crazy drinking game. But so those were the days of yore. They're all over with now.
Okay.
Now that's
So
not to
the
say
days.
you don't have them in cosmetology school. Y'all probably got some good drinking games up in them. If not, y'all should get it started. But don't tell the teachers we told you guys to do that.
Not at all.
Nah, please don't do that. Yes, you should. You should. You should. Inbox me if you want to know some good drinking games to have while you're, because you're going to need that. I know when I was in in cosmetology school, rather, I sure enough thought about quitting because they kept calling me grandma. You know, I didn't go to cosmetology school because I was like 32, 33.
Oh,
And they was like, hey, I said, stop calling me granny. They was calling me granny and stuff. So everybody was like 17, 18, you know, and I was just feeling very old, you know? What do you think
where you
about going?
were.
Yeah, I was. What do you think
I mean,
about?
for cosmetology school.
Yeah. What do you think about older people going to cosmetology school?
They'll probably fair weather. They'll weather pretty good. Probably in their business sense, just
Okay.
because they have a lot of work history behind them. So I'm sure they'll probably plan different, but they got a lot of advantages. And some of the cosmetology students that I did go to school, I only remember the older ones.
You only remember the older ones?
I don't
Oh,
remember the
that
younger. Well,
you
because
don't.
of course the connection is just so much more wider. You know, they have
Yeah.
families. Their kids come in as their customers sometimes, and there's, you know what I mean. When you
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
your
Well,
age, you don't
people,
remember.
yeah. I just felt like, you know, I did kind of feel like I was definitely uh you know, a little bit old because I didn't know all the lingo. You know, they had all the stuff that they were doing. Like when I went to cosmetology school, I only knew how to do my hair, you know. So I was one of those people who, you know, who truly went to cosmetology school to learn about hair, you know. So people like, you don't learn shit in cosmetology. Oh, I beg to differ. You do learn things in cosmetology school. So I'm going to type in the chat. How old were you when you went to Barber or beauty school? So drop your answer in the chat, and so we can see how old was too old. And I think that'll be a good way to get it started. So today we're going to be talking about um, how much to charge. And
Mm,
that's a really, really difficult topic because, well, the topic is easy to talk about, but
yeah,
the actual raising the price or charging whatever, maybe your price don't need to be raised. We're going to talk about that. So that's what the topic is all about today. So if you are about to graduate, or maybe you just got finished, or maybe you've been open or you've been working behind the chair for a little while and you're just like, dude, like you know, I don't know when to raise the prices, and we're going to talk about all of that. So first, let's set the tone for pricing. So, Cheryl, let's give them a backdrop on pricing and what gives something value. Because when you first come out of school, I mean, who's really feeling like they're worth much? Because, you know, in America, the pay scale is when you knew you have like an entry level and then you work your way up, not knocking what you've been doing since you were 12, but hair at home ain't the same as the hair salon or the barber shop, or, you know, so let's kind of work that out a little bit. The difference between at home hair and school hair care, the professional, and then you know, the whole value of that, because that's where it gets the rubber meets the road.
yeah. Well, I will say that, you know, when you're at home, most times those are personal relationships, and you do have to have a connection with them first. They wouldn't be in your house otherwise, mainly. I think the last time you added your commentary, you said you just like didn't like people in your house, right? And so if you are at home, those are personal relationships. So those are people who are basing your value probably in a wider scope because on the value of the relation that you have with them, right? And so they're basing what they're going to pay you. They probably, if you kind of like raised your prices, they're going to probably say, well, you're at home, your cost didn't go up. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's just some invisible other conversations that people don't have with each other when you start raising your prices. They're probably saying you're still at home. But your rent went up or something. But it is very, it is very hard to raise prices at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at home definitely has a different, I ain't talking about because you got roaches or nothing like that. I'm just saying, or because your kids are running around, and some people don't have either. But something about doing hair at home has a different,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And they surely don't want to pay you.
Yeah, you have to have so many more boundaries
Yeah.
that are unspoken when you are in your kitchen or in your workspace when they know that it is your living quarters. And
Right.
so,
And I think, yeah, it's just kind of implied. Well, you're not a professional. So, I mean, what they call those an unspoken agreement. You don't talk
yeah.
about it, but I think it's just kind of implied. We got some wonderful people in the chat. Let us know. Hey, what's going on, Miss Williams? So glad to see you. What's up, Miss Keaton? So nice to see you guys in the chat. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and share. If you know a cosmetology or barber student who's in the struggle, maybe you have the struggle for real. I got plenty of stories about I did not want to raise my price. Lord have mercy. That was the hardest part for me. The most difficult part of being a cosmetologist, this was before I was even a salon owner, was number one, how much to charge, and then two, raising those prices. So that was very scary. I mean, scary, scary, scary. And so now we know that there's a difference between when you're at home, in the basement or the kitchen, wherever you're at, and then when you go to the hair salon. So we got some reasons why. So now that you're in the hair salon and you're behind the chair, or maybe you're doing some skincare, you got your little table and everything all laid out, and your nail polishes. I got some. I was just doing my nails right quick before. Not a true cosmetologist. Um, so now let's get into value. Because I have my license. I'm too legit to quit, right? I've got my space. I've got my, all the things. I got my tools. So now, what's going to give me value that people will want to pay? Now
Well,
that I've transitioned.
right. Value has to be planned out. Not, and I think we spoke about this. Value has to be planned out when you're in school, because
What you talking? Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute. Cheryl, every time I think I'm gonna try to do this podcast, say it again.
value has to be planned out.
What you talking about, Willis?
Nah, I'm sorry. YouTube say if you cuss in
Okay,
the
so and I
wait a minute,
only
let me say this. YouTube said if you curse within the first 7 minutes, they're gonna flag you. I'm sorry, we're gonna get it. What the hell is that cussing? So how do you plan out your what is that?
well, first of all,
I
you
didn't do it.
you
I
have
didn't do
well, first of all, let's just talk about studying value. And like we said last week, we must talk about these things in beauty school so they will not be foreign, and you won't be winging it after you get out, because you'll be so desperate and you got to pay the loan back and you got to do all this and you got to earn money, and you don't want to do value under those types of pressures. So you want to be able to plan your value out. Am I going to be an expert? Am I going to be a specialist? Am I going to have a niche? Am I going to be a connoisseur of something? And will people value people who communicate with them? And so, am I going to gather emails while I'm in school? Am I going to be making sure that I could allow them to feel that I actually care about them besides them coming into the salon. That is what the value is not in you. It is what the customer perceives your value as, what they get from you, the benefits, right? And because most people fall into the habit of creating and focusing on features, which means it's all about me. If you are not thinking about the customer and you thinking about you, you're not talking about value.
But is it the hairstyle, the nail service, the makeup, the cut? Is it that value, the service itself, and you just put a price tag on it? Is that what you mean by value, like the end result?
No, because they can get that from anybody else. We're
But
talking
they
about
coming to Key Lolo. I am
well
so
at what well
for
right.
what you know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But they don't know that until Kilolo allows them to make that decision, because when you come to Kilolo is going to be there before they get there. So
so the customer has to determine
right what is value, because they're going to determine whether they're paying you or not. So let's just say the moment you offer, the reason why the value is not in the service, because they can get the service from anyone else. But even if they're getting the service from you, I guarantee you do one thing that they don't like. All of a sudden, they're going to reassess your value. The value is not in you. It's not even in the service you're rendering. It is just the fact that all the little appreciations that you do. So adding value actually is very simple and easy, right? Because you know what you value. You know what you value, because when you go into that restaurant, you always want to sit in that section if Nancy is there. You actually ask if Nancy is there, because you want to sit in her section, because you know that she's not only going to give you, you're not going to have to ask for a straw. You're not even going to ask you. She actually is going to remember you, and she's going to remember that you like warm butter versus cold butter. There's just all the value that I am perceiving that I'm getting from a person that I don't have to ask them for. So value is actually not in the product itself. And I know most people want to say, oh, well, they're coming for me for a fade. They are. Do one thing wrong, and we'll see how much they value you.
Wow.
And
I mean, I think,
who value you, they will actually allow you to make mistakes.
True.
Because they will make a value judgment. Oh, because you're so out of character for you to be late, but that they make an allowance for, say, oh my God, there's something must have happened. Oh my God, Ladosha, are you okay? Even when you show up, oh my God, are you okay? That this is really rare that, oh my God, okay, tell me about it. And then all of a sudden, they forgot about the fact that you were late. They're relationing with you in a whole different way. And that's why you create that before they even become your client. You are in the power seat by defining what they're going to value you on. And once you think the value is in your service, then that means that you're the customer. You're not thinking about the customer. You're thinking about, I do such a great job. Yeah, do one thing wrong, and they'll tell you.
But for some, and I'm just saying, because of the influence of social media, I think it's kind of hard to grasp. And when people talk about being successful behind the chair, you always hear like, you have to be more professional. And it's like, well, I mean,
what is that?
What is that? Like, especially if I'm trying, I think school, it's been such a long time, so this is so jaded, but I feel like if I can recall, that the emphasis was really put on your ability to be able to provide the service, and that the professionalism was really kind of like in the environment, like your curtains and your chair. Did you have a professional blow dryer versus that one out of CVS or the beauty supply store? Like, to me, that's what they were saying was professional. It was like, I remember one person telling me a stylist is only as good as the tools they use. So I was into buying all these expensive tools, and I bought that T3 blow dryer. It cost like $700, and it fell on the floor. And you know what? it stopped working. And I was so confused because I was like, what, so when you say professional, that's so broad, especially to the newbies. I get this from Stefano, the new jacks.
New Jack.
The new jacks, so to the new jacks, professional is such a broad term. So expound on that a little bit as you talk about, it not just being in the actual hairstyle. Or in my instance, I really did think it was where I worked and what things in my,
Yeah,
aesthetics, if you will.
yeah. Once I learned the key to the value proposition, right? I did a really weird thing that most hairstylists don't do to increase the value proposition or to increase my value proposition. I decided that I was only going to do one person at a time. The moment, and so most people were saying, "Oh my God, you can only do one person at a time," and what if you're not getting? Well, because of my volume, my attention span, my conversation, my ability to connect. Some of the things that I missed about the last conversation we had about some of the problems or issues that that particular client may have had, I forgot. And so what I decided to do was to increase my value proposition and not worry about being cramming a lot in. And my actual value went up because I decided to do one person at a time.
Now I see Yate Keaton is in the chat, and is saying what you're saying about communication. And we talked about the last time. But if you're not a talker, and and you gave the suggestion to ask a lot of questions, but when you guys say communicate, now remember, I'm speaking from a novice, we're in school or we're just out, and I'm talking about as much as I can. So, what are y'all communicating about? So how about you give us an example of that whole communication and talking and that one block? So, what would that really look like in real time? Because if I just finished cosmetology school and I know my loan payment or my booth rent or just my car note, whatever, my groceries, my gas, is how communication gonna get me some immediate duckies? Oh, when you say duckies, you old, okay? Duckies, in case you don't know what duckies mean, cash, Skrilla. I'm telling my age, Skrilla, okay?
Right. And well, we're not talking about being chatty patty. That's not right. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about gossiping. We're not talking about the client coming in and dumping their whole life in your lap. What we are talking about is.
But don't you want to show that you're like human if you talk about, your baby daddy and what happened at the doctor? I mean, don't you want to? Is that showing that you're kind of
So
human?
that is at the same level as try not to talk about politics. Try not to talk about racism. Try not to talk about religion. Right? You want to talk about and ask the first of all, you want to be able to talk about their hair and to talk about, oh, have you seen Beyonce's new hairstyle or Zendaya's new hairstyle or something that gets them into the realm of why they're there, right? And to ask them questions about is their scalp, did the scalp itch? Just ask them questions about them. So you usually melt the ice about talking, because if you're not a talker, then you just ask questions, and then guess what they'll do? They'll talk, right? And so you are only checking in about certain things that will make your job better, something to improve on next time. How did the hairstyle work for them? There's always some very neutral questions that gets the customer to talking about themselves, and then all you have to do is listen, right?
And that gives you value. How? Because they like, well, sure, I need $5 for gas, so how that
well here's the thing. here's the thing. You are also treating your customer like you like to be treated. You're always a customer every day. And you already know you don't like being treated a certain way. So you let yourself be your guide. You know how you like to be treated and like how you like to be spoken to. You like when people say your name. You like when people say hello. You like when people say thank you. And you like when people ask you questions about what something matters.
That just seems so corny. I'm trying to be, boss babe and boss chick
Now
and,
here's the thing. Now here's the
AZ
thing.
cuts and, bebop makeup. I mean, like, it just seems so
Yeah. And let me
so
just say
white.
this. And let me just say this.
So nerdy.
Right. Until you get used to it, it is corny. But you just told me that you needed $5 for gas. Shut up, do the corny shit, and get it done.
Now,
It doesn't
here's
make
a
a difference.
wonderful here's another one. I'm loving this one. Now, here's a good example. Yate says, for example, I was running late for an appointment on this particular day. I reached out to my client to let them know I'm normally not late for my appointments. However, this time I was. The client was like, "It's no problem. Drive safe. See you when you get here." Okay. So, that's
So the value proposition is that if you want to raise her experience was based on the customer's value in her being there all the time. So she had a little lot. She made so many on time and welcoming deposits when she needed to withdraw something. The cash was there, and that customer said, "No problem. Drive safe. Take your time. See you when you get here." And that is because she values her.
I love that example that you get equity when
Mm-hmm.
when you do these things that you and Yate, I hope I'm saying it right. Yate is
Mm-hmm.
talking about, that we really don't think it has value, but like I said, it's not conveyed. It doesn't look like I said, but like you said, rather, it is corny.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely will give you value because on the other end, she was able to have some credit, and the customer would
Yes,
say,
yes,
"Oh, no
yes, yes.
problem. It's okay." Because you have some customers that be like, "Really? Because I got to be somewhere. But how long you gonna be? Excuse me. So, but she
Yeah.
definitely she already put something, as you say, in stock that later.
Her precedence was exemplary customer service. So they probably said, if she's not here, it's not because she has a habit of not being here. It's not a bad work ethic. It's actually a need. And I know, and see, the customer connected to her need because she knew at some point she's late, and she's not normally late, and she knows how it can be. That's the deposit you make inside of your value proposition with the customer.
All right, so now we can move along. So now we got the difference between the kitchen, and we're giving great examples of professionalism. Hey, Yate, are you are you a barber or a cosmetologist? So we got real live feedback from people who work behind the chair. So if you are one of those students, I'm telling you, this is the podcast for you because we're giving it to you pure and unadulterated, and
Absolutely.
we're giving it to you step by step. So now, okay, I get it, like latte. Okay, yate. Okay, all right, okay. So now where do we come into the price? So I looked through the circular that comes, like we have a circular that comes through, and it's called oh shoot, I just forgot the name of it, but it comes through Cleveland, and he has all the salons kind of listed in there. His name is Ronnie Pointer, and I don't know why the name of his magazine, it'll come back to me, and it has all the salons with the prices. Sometimes you can go online and see, but what Ladosha and them charging, what Cheryl charging, what is Yate and them charging. So I'm just going to charge what they charge because that's the value. Like I'm not talking about you barbers, but I'm about to put y'all on blast. Okay. I am. I'm just not, I'm not saying every barber, but when I talk to barbers, to me, they really struggle with the haircut prices. So I will hear them say a lot, well, the going price for a cut is. So, this is specific to barbers. How are how can they charge more when the lingo is the going price for a haircut is,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it could be $30, right? And you hear of these new barbers that are like the guy in the meeting yesterday, the OAB. He talked about a barber who charges $70 for the haircut, correct? But
Mm-hmm.
he said I could do that haircut in 15 minutes. And he kind of felt like, I think that's what he said, but my interpretation was, and I wouldn't even charge them 70. So when you have the going price lingo, what's the
Mm-hmm.
lingo we should be talking? And should we look at what we call commensurate?
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody else charges. So we don't want to be too much out there. If it's 30, 35, 29.99, but 7, come on, Keith Lolo, $70 for a haircut. Get the French toast out of here.
Well, let me say this. Here's once again, and when I talk about salon business, right, and I talk about beauty business, right, and let's just say I'm consulting a new barbershop, right, and one of the things is, and in fact, this did happen while I was in Harlem, and I got the client through one of the top models at that time. He was with Ford Models, and his name is Andre Brown. Anyway, but he was telling me about a barbershop that was pretty had some money backed. They were backed by a couple of investors. Anyway, they tried to open up this barbershop, high end, elite. The key here is that when they say haircuts, right? So they're talking about what they call the market, what the market can bear. What is the going market rate when they say, well, that the going price, right? The problem is that when they started, okay, they don't understand consumer psychology. And so you already know by the time I like Brooks Brothers shirts. Okay. Now the shirt is only cotton. Is there 1,500 different shirts below the price point of Brooks Brothers? Yes. Okay. So a Brooks Brothers white starch shirt is what? Going is 175, right? Or Thomas Pink, right? 250. Here's the thing. How am I able to make heads of tails of a Thomas Pink shirt versus a shirt in Ross for 1999? Is it that I actually really want to pay 1999, or do I want the quality of a Thomas Pink? Now, in an ideal world, I would want a Thomas Pink shirt for 1999. That is what we call a bargain, right? But the moment you say bargain haircuts, people will be like, "Oh, I want to go, but if I tell somebody I got a bargain haircut, what if it don't turn out right?" You know what I mean? Consumer psychology is very interesting, but when you don't have consumer psychology underneath you before you start setting your price, here's the thing. Nobody knows you, and that's why people will say the going rate or the going price, because the haircut quality is not based on the barber, it's based on the market bear. And I know they get taught to price to the market instead of pricing to themselves. Does that make sense?
Sorry. Yes, that makes a whole lot of sense. But it also sounds like it's a little easier, for lack of better words, to
Mhm.
kind of scroll through the pages and go on internet or look on social media and just say, hey, that's the going price. So the challenge of learning the consumer psychology and watching the language that we use, Now we still haven't got to the actual how you do the math for the. We're gonna get there, so stick around, guys. But how do you do the consumer psychology? Like, where can they go to? Now, I'll talk about what we do at the Reverence Design Team, and I showed that last week. But share with us a little bit more about consumer psychology. I mean, consumer psychology.
Right. It's almost like this. If I asked you, you made $1 million, right? And you want to treat yourself. And I ask you, you can buy you any car you want. What would you buy?
Aston Martin.
Okay.
DBS.
Right. So she's got to make 105. So Aston Martin. Now, why?
Bond.
Okay.
I mean, the prestige, and they only make but so many. The umbrella, the little you push the button. I don't have no Glock 9, but I would put my mascara in there. The leather, the way they hand stitch, the way they email you, and they just let you know like what's what. Where they take the pictures, like in these remote exclusive places, even people like Jay-Z, where they'll make something special so they can customize those Aston Martins as well, and that you can only drive them a certain time of the year. So there's a lot of exclusive. Okay, I went a little bit.
You see how she just how she described. Now, one of the things that you guys notice, the moment she described something that she wanted versus something that she needed, she immediately smiled. Then she laughed. Then she giggled, because you guys don't understand. When people spend money with you, they must have a relationship with one chemical, okay? And that's called serotonin. If you are not making them feel good about giving you their money, okay? Because at the end of the day, when I go to Cheryl's, Morrow's spot, I know I'm going to have so much fun. I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to give her $100. I can't wait to give it to her, because I'm going to get so much benefit. And see, in the haircut conversation with my wonderful young barbers, or sophomore barbers, freshman barbers, junior barbers, when you guys are talking about yourself, you keep wanting to sell features. People don't buy features. They buy that shit that she just said. They give you an email, and then they give you this, and I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna get this. Because at the end of the day, Aston Martin is selling you the same shit that a Volvo is made out of: steel, alloy, carpet, rubber, leather, stitches, all that shit. But what is Aston Martin that Volvo is not? That is in the mind of Ladosha. That is not what they're selling you. What you buy, what a customer buys from you, barbers and hairstylists, is not what you're selling them. You're selling them you standing up, water, towels, product, this. They're not buying that. They're buying your time, your expertise, your talk, you make them comfortable, the way you make them feel, the way you gave them a drink of water. Girl, I got you a bottle of water. I was in the store. I knew you was coming. And said, oh, thank you. They're buying that. They're buying benefits. So your price has to be to benefit, not to features.
Wow, hold on, wait a minute. I was so enthralled. I mean, I'm just like, hold on, we got to give you one big old fat fig old back. That was absolutely, that's not something that's talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That salon and that barber experience some value. And I think, I'm just saying, y'all, I'm just going to keep, because I'm a salon owner, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you some of the things that I see that I really, and I have to, kind of cajole them into it, because it's difficult. But they kind of feel like the customer is like, and they want to them to death. Like, you know I'm coming, right? And you know I'll call you, and I'm like, that's not really the way to do it, because you do, I mean, like, the name of our salon is Reverence. And so a lot of times people would come in and they would say, "Who is Reverence?" Because they see they think Reverend, And so we're good on letting them know that reverence means to hold in the highest regard. So from the moment they either call or they walk in, we want them to feel the reverence. And Philip Pelusi would call this the emotion quotient. And I think that's what you're talking about, is that we have to make them feel a certain kind of a way. This is why image is really important, because when people see me, they feel very, like, they love my hair color. Nobody asked for it. Like, hey, look good on you, but I want that shit in my head, okay? But that my image also gives them a certain feeling that they want to, I'm trustworthy. So, and we have them sit down. They're going to, have to fill out a form that gets them to kind of like calm down. And it sets the tone that we're about to rock your world, because they're like, oh, I got to fill this out. Now, some people will say, well, I ain't, I'm not here for that. I want to fill out them. You know what we say to them? Well, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate your visit, because we already know if you don't let us do that consultation, you're going to miss the whole thing.
Oh, the consultation
is
well, and two, the happiest place on earth is not Disneyland. The happiest place on earth is what you call MALL. The happiest place on earth is a mall. You guys feel wonderful walking into the Apple store. In fact, you feel so fucking snobbish that I'm an Apple. Oh, Microsoft. Ugh. Now, and then Microsoft people, look at those dummies. They're just caught up in the world. They caught up in the matrix. It's a goddamn phone, y'all. It ain't that serious. Okay, so we having both. Then, of course, you walk past the Louis Vuitton store, and they've got this security guard outside, and you're like, let me in. Keep them out. Right? You go by the Prada store, and it's like a temple of deliciousness, and you're like, that's what I am. I'm a Gucci woman. You know what I mean? It's called retail therapy.
Okay.
And it is a mall full of psychologists. Armani store don't have the same thing as Abercrombie and Fitch. Abercrombie and Fitch and Banana Republic, they couldn't be further apart. They're tribes. And people don't go into each other's store because that's not their tribe. And Michael Kors is a certain type of tribe. And it's people take thousands of dollars to psychologically connect with their tribe. So my point is that your clientele is your tribe. You don't have a price problem. You don't even have a money problem. You have a brand problem. Because at the end of the day, people who get something from you and you focus on benefits, they have no problem paying you. They just don't. And that's just from my perspective.
Wow. So now you got vibe with your tribe. You've got to create this, this atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give that service value. So I've done all of that. I went to school. I got my communication. I got my little yate, factor going on. I got my language. I got my, all of my field. The serotonin is secreted. Is serotonin, what is that? An endorphin, or what is that? A hormone? What is serotonin?
That is the happy hormone. You
got your serotonin,
right? Yeah. And your serotonin and your oxytocin.
Norepinephrine. I'm gonna name my baby that. Come in, norepinephrine. Sit your little butt down. Norepinephrine. I'm gonna call her Riri. No, Riri. She'll always be dropping them big words. You know, Shirley says she calls you the Cornell West. She just norepinephrine. I'm gonna name my baby norepinephrine. Somebody come get me pregnant so I can name my baby norepinephrine. That might be my other alter ego. This norepinephrine up in this bull. Okay, so now we got the norepinephrine, jumping off in this joint. Serotonin is secreting and all this good stuff. So now, where am I gonna get my money? How much do I charge for all this? So how do I orchestrate my price? Where do I actually put the dollar sign and put it in my app or my menu? Give me the math. How do I do the math?
Well, let's just say if you're a salon owner, right? Okay, you would get all your expenses out a month, right? Okay, because and I'm not talking about just a salon owner per se. Let's just say you have your booth renter, because you have to remember, the moment you're in the salon with other booth renters, the moment you're in the same building as salon suiters, the moment you're in the actual population of people who are doing basically the same thing you're doing, right? And so you have to map out, and I just happen to be a mathematician. I love numbers, right? And so once you get all of your expenses in all terms of your cost, and then you look at the subsequent people that are coming to you already, and then you want to do your math according to that way, and then how much time are you willing to spend on each person to keep the level of your optimal performance without you being tired. If you want to spend 45 minutes, well, then you got to do the math and quantify the 45 minutes. So if that has happened to be $60 for 45 minutes, right? And you want to work 8 hours. And so you're going to be doing $60 time. And then, of course, if you only have $25 in costs, then you're making money because you got another 25 and then another 25. But the point is that it starts from the monthly of your cost, which means your input for the maximum output.
So your input would be like you're looking at all of your expenditures, right? You got to see how much is that. So we'll do a little math right quick, but before we do the math, Cheryl, can you show them how to help change the narrative about how to raise your prices or set your prices as a barber, cosmetologist, nail tech, or esthetician? Show them how to help change the narrative. Show them right quick. Here we go, guys. All right, so we just showed you guys, all you have to do right now is hit that thumbs up button. This is a wonderful conversation. It's about so you think you can do hair. Now the question is, how I'm gonna charge for all this goodness that I'm doing? And so this is what our podcast is all about today. We're helping those students and the new ones. Maybe you're returning. Also, if you're returning back to the industry and you just don't know how to do the math because you kind of got it wrong, and we just learned today, watch out for those market prices, because there's a perceived mindset that comes when people like a $30 haircut. They already know what they're expecting. And Cheryl just gave us an example when I talked about the Aston Martin. I started smiling and giggling. Are your customers just salivating, getting that norepinephrine secreting to come and sit in that chair? If not, you want to rethink that. And so we're going to play a game of do the math. Now, we're writing up. We got exactly 1 hour. So for poofs and giggles, we're just going to do everything in zeros to set the price. So for example, let's say now you got 2 rents, right? You got
no. Let's just make it easy, quick and easy. Okay, $700 your expenses, right?
$700. Now your expenses
that's monthly.
Monthly. Now, is that your home expenses or your salon expenses?
It doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
The math, the formula works the same.
So include all of your expenses at home and what you right. So let's just say it's $700. Okay, guys, you got these phones. Use your smartphones, not just for taking pictures, but do the math. So that
Right,
doesn't pay 700. So
right. 700. Okay.
700.
Right. And then you're going to divide it by, of course, everybody works within a month. So divide that by 4. So because it's 4 weeks you're going to work, right? You're going to work each week. 175, right? So a week, right? You have to make that 175 per week. Now, you guys say, oh, well, okay, that's doable. Let's just say we in 1950, and that ain't doable. It's something to stretch for, right? And so that 175 will be how many heads you do a day. Oh, well, right now I'm starting out, I do 3. Okay, well, divide that by 3.
So divide 175 by 3.
Okay, that's $58,
I
right?
gotta charge $58.
Ma'am,
I'm
per.
sorry, I'm a hairstylist. My name is norepinephrine. My serotonin is secreted.
Okay, now you gotta make $58 a day. Divide that by 3 clients.
58 divided by 3 equals.
So you guys are you need a $19 hairdo. Got it?
And that's over the next. That's for the 8 hours a day, or
$19 for those 3 clients. But you say, well, I have some profit margin in there because I charge 40. Okay, well, how many 19s go into 40? So you're making money. You know what I mean? Because you need to make $58 a day, right?
19 goes. Okay, yeah.
Right. Okay, so you need 2 clients that's going to pay you $40. You made $80 over your what? $58 that you need to make in a day to cover the weekly expenses of 175, which creates 175 times 4 is your 700.
Booyah.
Okay.
And then you peel off your 33 and a 3 for your taxes and make sure you take your little money out. We got to make sure we say that. Peel it off.
Well, here it is. But if you are a business and you're going to pay business taxes, you got to readjust that 33% because business pays taxes that individuals don't pay. Because if it's not income, it's a different price. That's a different tax bracket.
Right.
Then you can have write off your water and your expenses and your things and your that. So you get tax breaks.
Yeah, you do get tax breaks, guys. You can't write everything off, but you can. Okay. Right. But you guys get where we're going with this. Incorporate this. And you're starting to get a good feel that this is attainable, is what you're saying.
Well, it's just based on you as your individual needs and stop trying to do what market is bearing. And then there's so much more free incentives that you can give your customers that they're not paying you for, and they're free things that put you ahead of the guy that you're cutting next to. So now you're going to give them samples. So you go and you buy an exclusive piece of hand sanitizer, or you just give them things, or you incentivize them. There's so many free things that you can give to push you and propel you. So now next week you're going to make, $40, but they're going to tip you $7. You know what I mean? The key here is to always incentivize because you're thinking about what the customer is going to want, the benefits they're getting, instead of you trying to keep telling them what you're offering them. And that's features basis, and benefits trump features. Stop telling them what you're going to give them and what you're doing for them, and you're giving them a haircut. Yeah, but the moment you do something wrong, whether they're no longer, they've moved or something, they're not coming to you because it's not that much of a big deal.
I'm kind of like Bonnie Raitt. Let's give them something to talk about. Come on, Cheryl. A little mystery to figure out. Come on now. We got to give y'all something to talk about. You have to give your customers something to talk about. So I
That
always,
is where the referral comes from.
yes,
Something
give,
to talk about.
you got 3 R's: retention, retail, and referrals, right? So you got your price set, you've done all your stuff. Now you've got to give them something to talk about. And I say, how about you come up with like the Ladosha movie featuring, right? Who's going to be featured in that movie? You got your hair care products, the right hair care products, co-starring Cold Water. Also, is On Time. Another thing that you're going to see, guess who's going to show up? We got special appearances by Hot Towels. You see, because when they go to talk about, like when people come to the hair salon and I style their hair, I'm styling their hair because I want them to deliberately have a conversation. So when I finish a hairstyle, people don't get a compliment. They don't. They get this. Oh, when you go get your hair done at? And so the customer like, you got a minute? Girl, you know about the Reverend Design Team hair salon. This hair salon, they got the best old school. Oh, but they be going down the Soul Train because we got this little thing. We have this little the way our towels are set up. It looks like a Soul Train line. Sometimes we go down the Soul Train line. We serve water. We have tea. All this fancy packets. You know what I'm saying? We have warm towels. We got homemade cookies and popcorn.
There are
Tons of just free.
free
It's
things.
it's just free. Now we charge $1 for the cookies, but if they say, "Oh, I'll take them," the people will come in like the Muslim sisters with the juices and the pies. Sometimes we'll just buy something for the whole salon. Oh my gosh, you bought me some juice. So that gives your customer something to talk about because now some people will come in because they just want to know what the hell going on in this salon? They really want to know what's going on. Another example, I had a young lady's hair I did the other day, and she traveled from Chattanooga, Tennessee to Cleveland through her careers. And then along that path, Cheryl, she's trying to find the right colorist. So when she came in, her hair was colored, but they could not get that white covered. But I could tell that she really liked her cosmetologist. But she was like, I just want my gray covered. So I told her what I could do, all that fancy stuff. I said, you know what, Miss Jones, that's not her real name. I said, if you want, what I'm going to do for you, I am going to write down the formula and the brand that I use. You can take it back to your cosmetologist. That way she will know exactly what I did. I'll film it so she can see exactly what I did. I'll send it to you in a little clip because you can do this stuff on your little reels on your phone with those little apps that you guys have. And if she needs any help, she can come to the salon on a Sunday or a Monday, and I will teach her how to do it for free. And she was like, hold on. Here she goes, Cheryl.
What you talking about, Willis?
And I said, this is what professional stylists do. So, Cheryl, can you just kind of back that story up? It's kind of like going to the doctor and they send your files with you. Don't you share, like, if they're going to travel away? We actually do give those formulas because that person may not really know what you used on their hair, or they may not even carry that line of products in the locale where they live. And heaven forbid they in a small town where the internet sucks, and they can't always get online. So talk about that added value and sharing that knowledge with other professionals that's going to give you value, because best believe she was impressed.
Now, well, one of the things is that we don't really understand the energy shifts, and as we explained before earlier in the podcast, everything is psychological. But because you knew how important it was for her, that you were willing to give it away for free, she put a value on what you were giving, to the point where she was
I mean, the whole time she looked. I mean, while she was sitting in the chair, her hair was colored. She was like this.
So by you decompressing your own personal value, it was inflated by the person you were giving it to for free. She did the inflation herself. That is the insurance that one, she defined what was professional for Ladosha, because the professionalism was that you cared about me so much that if I am not here in Cleveland with you again, you will ensure that I still look the way I want to look. That's a investment that Ladosha made in her. Then she took it and said, she put all the value on it, to the point where she was shocked that she did it. That those are things that you don't have to do. You let the customer do it. But because you want to charge for everything, that the person's going to say, well, I'm your customer. You just can't give it to me for free. Just let me have it because I'm already paying for it. See, she didn't take that route. She took the free route. Then at that point, the customer took it and was so grateful. She put the value on it for Ladosha. And now the woman is going to cherish that thing. And if she's ever in Cleveland in the area, she's going to come to who? No matter what.
Yeah.
Ladosha charges.
Yeah. Right.
She's going to pay it.
It's funny you would say that because she said, you know, I don't know. I want to think about, if I want to talk to her about it, because I mean, the warm towel, the phone call, what was the lady's name who talked to me on the phone? You gave me pizza, you fed me. I was so hungry. We still hadn't got to the hairstyle was already done. She never, to Cheryl's point, she never, she had forgot all about the color. I mean, she loved the results, but at the end of the day, it moved all the way from no one could color her hair to what Cheryl is talking about, giving your service value beyond the hairstyle. So, Cheryl, as we wrap this up, we promise you guys 1 hour. So close the barber and cosmetology and nail techs, because you guys have the same issues, aesthetics. Close them out with a nice school of thought, or a school for thought about, pricing.
Pricing, it is a formula. Once you get it down, it does apply to everything. You're adding and dividing percentages. Once you understand the formula, it's not hard. It applies to everything, maybe in a bigger scale and a smaller scale. But once you get the full of your expense, what you're gonna be dividing after a 4-week period, right? A month. And then the things that you need, then you become in control over those numbers. And then you have some real concrete goals. You have it on paper and so therefore you begin to work from a real quantified cost. Then once you start, it becomes real to you. You broke it into pieces. It's not intimidated at that point. You become part of your financial in your math. It becomes real to you. So where you can start manipulating them, it becomes a formula and you just get used to it. It's just something you get used to. And so you'll start buying your inventory like that. You'll start buying everything with that math. And I just want to encourage you guys to just make sure that you get practice it. It becomes part of you, and it's good for you because you start knowing what you're doing with your numbers, and then the prices that will become indicative of that particular formula. It just gets easier. So good luck. You can do it.
All right, there you have it. This is our 6th episode of you think you can do hair. Now remember, the ideal of this concept was created by our intern, Miss Samaria Smith, and the topics that we're covering right now are the ones that she so desperately wanted before she left cosmetology school. So the show is always dedicated to all of the interns, all of the students, all of the cosmetology instructors and school owners, this show is for you. So come back and join us every Monday at 12:30. So you think you can do hair. We'll be back next week. And this one she says she's waiting on. And this one is about how to stock that salon or that loft. What should I be putting in there? What products to buy? What tools? What equipment? So if you want to get a little glimpse, you can join us tonight at 6:00 as Cheryl is going to share her love of going green. And you guys are going to love this topic. I'm going to have my notes ready. I got my baby. Yeah, I'm looking for a baby daddy. Come on, I need a baby so I can name a Noah I don't care if it was a boy or a girl, Noah epinephrine. That's my little running joke today here. I like the way I said it, Noah epinephrine. You see that, Cheryl? All right, guys. So you back here at 6:00 for our 100th episode. 100. We're gonna have some great giveaways, and you know what we say when we're signing out, right? Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. And that is something that my mom would tell me all the time whenever I complained. It's too hard. Okay, you guys can do it. Happy birthday, mommy. I love you very much. Cheryl, I'll see you back at 6:00, and we'll see you guys later. So, you think you can do hair? Then join us every Monday at 12:00 on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel.